Hello and welcome to this edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Today we spotlight personal and national empowerment, how Jamaicans can take steps to improve their own lives, and how the nation is strategically planning for a stronger future. From personal development to public health, and from vision boards to visionary policies, these stories reflect the heart of progress in Jamaica. Let's dive into what's shaping our people and our future. The news is next.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry and this is your JIS News for Thursday, June 19, 2025. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, has expanded its fleet with the arrival of 63 new compressed natural gas CNG buses. The buses arrived on the island this morning and were collected from the port by Transport Minister Darrell Vaz. The acquisition is part of the government's plan to modernize public transportation and ease the so-called misery index for commuters. Another 7 buses are to arrive soon, which, added to the 63, will be deployed to the Spanish Town depot.
Each of these 70 buses can carry 80 persons. That's the manufacturer's specs. That's between standing and seated. Each bus will do an average of 6 trips per day. That's 480 passengers per bus per day. When you multiply that by 70, you'll get 33,600 passengers per day. So what I'm saying is that apart from what JUTC is transporting now on a daily basis, 70 buses will increase its capacity for another 33,000 passengers. That is going to improve existing routes, expand routes, and most importantly, bring the wait time for passengers.
With the new buses going to the Spanish Town depot, existing units there will be redeployed to serve other areas. Minister Vaz also provided an update on upcoming fleet additions.
Another 30 coach diesel buses for excursions, charters, will arrive on July 9th, and another 7 buses, CNG buses for handicap, will arrive in August of 2025. So I will deliver on the second 100 buses within the first 3 months of the new financial year.
Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang says over $2 billion is being invested annually in programs administered by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund to support socially challenged communities. Dr. Chang gave the update while moving a motion to extend the Zones of Special Operations, ZOSOs, in 7 communities. Parliament approved the motion for a further 180-day extension on Tuesday, and Minister Chang assured that the work would continue.
But consistent with our policy, we will not only seek the extension, but we will be looking at scaling this activity up very soon as we continue into the new financial year to cover additional communities where we may do hold and build as the principal activity, since the police is now clearly on top of the criminal gangs that used to torture our society.
According to Dr. Chang, combined homicides in all ZOSO declared communities so far this year have reduced by 79%, representing 3 murders compared to 14 for the same period in 2024. The overall murder count for the country between January 1 and June 16 this year is 307, reflecting a 44.3% decline in homicides. The National Security Minister asserts that the government's policy is to strengthen the police force to effectively confront criminal elements, employ robust legislative measures, and make strong social investments. The House of Representatives on Tuesday also passed key amendments to the Praedial Larceny Prevention Act to strengthen penalties and expand enforcement against the theft of crops, livestock, and fish. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining Floyd Green piloted the legislation. He says the revised law will impose harsher penalties and expand enforcement under the Act and its first schedule.
This bill seeks to expand the powers of the agricultural wardens, enabling them to enforce provisions under related legislation, including the Agricultural Produce Act and the Animal Disease and Importation, Market of Bovine Animals regulations.
Major changes include increasing fines from $40,000 to $1 million and allowing property forfeiture for sentences of 1 year or more, down from 2. The law now also covers new offenses under the Larceny and Malicious Injuries to Property Acts, such as robbery, receiving stolen goods, and arson of crops. And for the first time, victims will be permitted to give impact statements in court.
Our farmers have for long lobbied for this, because oftentimes when they're going to be sentencing in these matters, our farmers want to have a say to be able to indicate the sort of damage that has been brought to bear on them.
The bill was also amended to empower the minister to make regulations governing the form and manner in which victim impact statements are submitted. The legislation will now go to the Senate for approval. Also coming out of Parliament this week, approval has been granted for the Public Procurement National Development Project, Western Parishes Water Supply and Resilience Improvement Program, Order 2025. This officially declares the Water Supply Program a national development project.
This project is a critical and strategic program of the National Water Commission to address persistent challenges related to service reliability, system capacity, and climate vulnerability in water supply systems across the northwest and north-central Jamaica.
The finance minister points out that the program is a multi-phased initiative aimed at improving access to potable water and sewerage services in St. James, Trelawney, St. Ann, Westmoreland, and Hanover.
This access is vital in supporting a sustainable economy. The program intends to build critical infrastructure and create interconnectivity between treatment facilities along the north and western corridors, which will remove the National Water Commission's constraints to distribute water across the network during outages, drought, change in climate or weather patterns, and peak demand periods.
The National Housing Trust has activated its revised loan limits 2 weeks earlier than the previously announced July 1 date. As of June 16, for purchases on the open market, one applicant may access $9 million, two co-applicants up to $17 million, and three co-applicants up to $23 million. The same increases apply for 2 and 3 co-applicants accessing a build-on-own-land loan, while single applicants get $11 million. Meanwhile, a special loan limit of $12 million is available to single applicants buying a unit that's being sold at $14 million or less. The NHT is also offering increases ranging from $5 to $10.5 million for contributors purchasing land on the open market. In addition, the waiting period to access a second loan benefit for existing mortgagors and homeowners has reduced from 10 to 7 years. These persons are also now able to access up to $10 million.
Also, coming July 1, the Smart Energy Loan ceiling has increased, and that's a big one, from $1.5 million to $2.5 million. And you can use those to purchase solar panels, rainwater harvesting system, battery storage, and those interest rates are really low, 0 to 5%. And there's also expanded home grants for contributors with unfinished properties older than 2 years. And so we are doing our best to assist Jamaicans in home ownership or to fix up a house.
The Information Minister gave the update during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing. To complement these increases and further improve affordability among contributors, the NHT has reduced its service charge for new mortgages effective July 1, 2025. And finally, with PEP results set for release this Friday, Education Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon is urging parents who have not yet registered on the online portal to do so immediately. Speaking at Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing, the minister revealed that only a third of grade 6 parents had signed up on the results portal.
Only 10,000 parents of the 30-odd thousand children have registered on the portal to see their children's grades. Where are the other 20-something thousand parents? Where are you? In order for you to get your child's grade, you need to use the SMS, and SMS has been sent to you.
She stressed that delaying registration could lead to system crashes, a recurring issue when too many parents try to log in at once on results day. The ministry will host a follow-up press conference on Friday to provide an overview of students' performance.
On Friday, I expect to see some very happy children and parents across Jamaica.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
In 2023, many of you told us how pleasantly surprised you were with our first Transformations Expo. Be prepared to be amazed at Transformations Expo 2.0, People, Quality and Technology, coming from 2 locations at the National Arena in Kingston and simultaneously at the Montego Bay Community College from Thursday, June 19 to Sunday, June 22. Bring your friends, bring your family. I'm looking forward to meeting you.
Whether you're entering the food industry or just renewing your credentials, getting certified with a food handler's permit is a crucial step. This feature walks you through the simple process to ensure you're qualified, safe, and ready to serve.
Juicy, buy a juice from me now.
A cool bag juice sounds just about right, but do you have a permit? Whether you're selling juice on the corner, baking gizadas at home, or running a full-service restaurant, there's one thing every food operator in Jamaica must have: a food handler's permit. Issued under the Public Health Food Handling Regulations, this permit is mandatory for anyone involved in preparing, serving, transporting, or handling food across the island. And here's why.
It means that you would be in conformance with the Public Health Food Handling Regulations. And so it is important that persons make their application so that they can get the requisite training in an effort to ensure that the foods that are offered to the public are safe, wholesome, and free from any form of contamination.
So, how do you apply for a food handler's permit? It's easier than you might think.
It is quite simple. It's a simple process. You would need to complete the prescribed application form. You would also be required to submit 2 passport-size photographs. In addition, you are expected to pay the requisite application fee, which is $500. You will be given an appointment date and time to visit one of our venues for the training session, to be interviewed, and to sit a test.
For applicants in the Southeast Regional Health Authority parishes, a TRN may also be needed for tracking your application.
The persons who apply for food handlers permits would normally be screened. A series of questions would be asked for the health interview, and this is to ascertain the health status of the applicants, because anyone who acquires a food handler's permit would be deemed to be fit and proper to handle food prepare food, serve food for human consumption. And as such, these persons have to meet the requirements on the medical interview. Once you are successful in completing the process, then you'll be able to get your food handler's permit. On average, it would normally take 6 weeks or thereabout from application to acquiring the food handler's permit. In some cases, particularly in the other parishes outside of Southeast, it would take a much shorter period of time. However, it can take longer whenever we have challenges, but we try our endeavor best to ensure that employers who need to know that their employees have completed the process successfully are provided with a letter which is temporary.
My food handler's permit does help me because when I do events like these or even when I go to like Hope Gardens, first thing first, the public health inspector come around, hey chef, you have your food handlers? I say, yes man, here it is. And I pop it out just like this and show them my food handlers is up to date, legit and ready to go. The inspectors are required to monitor food handling establishments at least twice yearly. We would normally certify the businesses, and once the businesses are certified, then we would do an additional assessment or inspection to ensure that they are operating in accordance with the public health food handling regulations. But you have to bear in mind too that resources are limited, and as such we have to do risk ranking where we focus and monitor more frequently high risk operations, medium risk operations. For low risk operations, they are not neglected, they are also monitored, but certainly not as frequently as we would monitor high risk and medium risk operations.
High-risk establishments are those directly involved in serving, preparing, or handling potentially hazardous foods such as milk, eggs, cheese, fish, and various meats like chicken, beef, pork, and goat. Low-risk establishments, on the other hand, are those that sell prepackaged or sealed items such as peanuts, bottled water, and confectionaries.
If it is that persons would have committed violations, we would seriously have to consider the nature of the violation and the type of violations committed and whether or not the person has been rehabilitated. And as such, each case, each situation would have to be dealt with on its own merit.
So, how to get the application form to become certified?
The application form is online. It may be downloaded from SARA's website, Southeast Regional Health Authority's website. It may also be downloaded from the website of the Ministry of Health and Wellness and completed. However, applicants would still need to visit the local health department in order to apply, because you'll be given an appointment date and an appointment time, and you're expected to return on that day and at the required time to be interviewed.
Having a food handler's permit isn't just about compliance. It builds trust with your customers and ensures you're ready for any health inspection that might come your way. Don't take chances. Get certified, stay compliant, and help keep Jamaica's food safe. Justice meets innovation at the newly commissioned Forensic Pathology Autopsy Suite.
Equipped with modern technology and improved facilities, this state-of-the-art center is strengthening Jamaica's ability to solve crimes and serve families with dignity.
Historic step forward for national security, justice, science, and public health. Jamaica now leads the Caribbean in forensic advancement. The Ministry of National Security officially opens the state-of-the-art forensic pathology autopsy suite built to international standards and designed to meet the growing needs of a modern justice system.
Institute of Forensic Science and Legal Medicine is a critical institution in the entire security architecture and a part of the Plan Secure Jamaica program. It's critical because it is important that when criminals are apprehended, we can take them to court with irrefutable evidence and have successful prosecution.
We have designed a building that is 1,500 square meters, which comes out at about 16,700 square feet. We have parking for 43 cars. We have covered areas for places like when the bodies are brought in, they brought them under the shade, take them into the area where they weigh the bodies, and then they take them into the cooler rooms. This particular room is what I consider the engine of the entire building. We're 10 people who would work in here as pathologists, totaling 120 bodies can hold in this building. So, for example, if you have an earthquake and we have problems in the country, this building can't stop. It has every backup that we can say to make sure that nothing stops. It has to run. And there's a lot of equipment and rooms. Also, how people come into the building. The police are properly positioned that they can control anybody coming into the building. Also, there are cards that some people can allow into some areas, others can't. So those are the kind of things that go on. It is very sophisticated.
Jamaica has not had a national, public morgue since the 1970s. My understanding is that the facility was destroyed by fire. Now, what this really meant is that we were conducting, postmortems in private funeral homes, in an unregulated industry. And when you consider the justice and security implications of that, there was really a need to have this facility in place at the earliest opportunity.
This project was started in October 2021, to be exact, the 14th of October. My experience with this, I think I've learned a lot on this building, being the first building of its kind in the Caribbean. And it's a unique building. Most of us, if not all of us who work on this building, see it as being unique to the country.
Students, policemen who can come, look at what the pathologists are working on, and we can ask questions as they work along. And that applies here as well. This particular one behind us is really the one that the police use. And if they have questions, they can talk to the pathologists from the room up there and make their own notes, because all of that sometimes comes into the courts.
There is a nexus between security, economic, and social development. No doubt about that. All right? What this facility will do is to contribute in a very meaningful way in improving the investigative capacity of law enforcement and all the other entities, within the justice system, the courts, to have access to forensic certificates in a timely manner to ensure that the right perpetrators, are brought to justice. You can see how it will actually strengthen security, justice, and by extension, economic and social progress.
There is no doubt that a quality criminal justice system is important for national development. And that's what the autopsy suite brings to the table.
It's going to be groundbreaking for our country in terms of the national security
implication.
Ultra-modern facility, certainly the best in the Caribbean.
This facility is more than modern equipment. It is a testament that the government remains steadfast in its commitment to truth, accountability, and the pursuit of justice.
Success begins with a vision. In this inspiring piece, we explore how vision boards help individuals stay focused on their goals and make dreams a reality. See how this simple tool is transforming lives across the island.
A mood board, ambition board, journey board, vision, or whatever you want to call it, is used to provide inspiration and motivation. They serve as reminders that you need to keep pushing and are quite helpful and very effective, especially for persons who struggle with procrastination. Co-founder of Mind Food International, Natasha Wright, has been vision boarding and conducting seminars for over 10 years, and she explains some of the things that should be considered before starting the vision boarding journey.
Vision is actually a mental picture of moving humanity forward. And so what we call vision boarding may not be in its truest sense, because vision, it encompasses helping other people. The vision board should look how you want it to look, but remember that we are human beings, so we do have that spiritual aspect, our physical aspect, our career, our family, so you want to have your finances, so you want to make sure that you have a little area or a slot on your board for these different areas of life. And so what you want to do is to find pictures, or you can use affirmation. You can find words, whether from the newspaper, magazine, it doesn't matter. Print them off, a quote, something that really represents who you want to be or what you want to attain, right? And you use those and you put them up there. Now, I like to tell people, it makes no sense you put something up there that you cannot emotionally connect to. Because if it means nothing, so for example, I'm not a car enthusiast. I'm not enthusiast. I'm not. That's just not me. So for me to put up a really nice car, yeah, I see it, I like it, but I mean, it really has to be something that I want. You need to make sure it's placed strategically. You cannot have a vision board and hide the vision board behind your fridge. Nobody's going to see that. It needs to be in that area that you must see it. I had a mentee, she did one after we had a discussion. She said she actually saw me talking about it on a program, and she said she placed it where she would rest her car keys when she got in from work. And when she's picking up the keys to leave the following morning, that's what she would see. Some persons, they put it in their bedroom, close to where the bed is, as soon as they get up. Well, there is no perfect time to do your vision boarding. You, more than anyone else, knows the mistakes, knows the things that you need to work on. I mean, naturally people would say you just use cartridge paper, use some kind of cardboard, or something that is durable enough for you to paste it, right? So you could put it on normal paper and paste it, but you wouldn't want it to deteriorate. Your vision board can be a screensaver. You can create a collage on your phone. Just remember, while you're putting up the nice pictures of the house and the car and the wonderful vacation, remember as well that there needs to be something on there that is going to touch other people's life in a more sustainable and positive way.
And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for more stories that inform, inspire, and empower. Visit our website, gis.gov.jm, or connect with us on social media. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay safe and do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.